We are going to be touching on other types of insurance. In our last unit, we discussed homeowners and car insurance. So let's think about reasons to get insurance. There's a risk that something might happen, and even if you do have an emergency fund, you still need to protect your finances. And you can protect yourself against a risk of larger losses when you purchase insurance and become a policyholder. Now, when we discussed our unit on employment, we also mentioned that health insurance and disability insurance may be included with your um, employee package, your benefit package. So please watch the video at your convenience. So again, let's talk about some sources of insurance. Again, part of the employment process is employee benefits. It is definitely an incentive for an employee to join a company. Individual, you can get property and liability insurance. A lot of people buy long-term care insurance for their later years because they know that they may wind up in an assisted living and they don't want to be a burden to their family, and this would definitely help them. And the government has insurance programs. There's unemployment in case you lose your job through no fault of your own. There's Social Security as you get to be a bit older. There's Medicare and Medicaid. Again, there are certain stipulations that must be met before you qualify for Medicaid or Medicare. So let's look at some of the insurance. We have health, life, auto, homeowner, and renter, and we discussed that before. Pet insurance, travel insurance, flood and earthquake, and wind insurance. So let's review the three main components of insurance policies. They are premiums, amount of money that you pay regularly to your insurance company for having an active insurance policy. There are deductibles, the amount that you said, I will pay out of pocket, and the insurance company covers the rest. And then there are claims. That's what you do. You make a formal request with your insurance company to receive the money for any sort of loss that is covered by that policy. So we talked about deductibles, but a quick review. If you have $1,000 auto insurance deductible and you had some sort of situation that overall bill was $3,000, you pay the first $1,000, they pay the $2,000, the difference. Again, higher deductible equals lower premium. Okay, so you agree to pay a larger portion of the loss, you will not be paying the insurance company as much. If you go with a low deductible, you have a higher premium. So in this case, if you say, I'm not going to pay more than $100 or $50 out of my own pocket, they will sock you with a higher premium that you could be paying monthly, quarterly, annually, depending on your policy. So let's look at the claims multifaceted procedure. You file a claim, they investigate it to see the extent of the damage. When it's approved minus your deductible, you get a check for it. Now, some people will file claims for every little thing. That does affect future policies because you then become a high risk and you may be dropped from your insurance company, or they may ask for you to pay higher premiums. So be judicious when applying for a claim. So let's look at some health insurance. Older individuals have higher healthcare costs, therefore they have bigger premiums. Your lifestyle. Smokers pay higher premiums than non-smokers. There are different kinds of plans, HMOs, PPOs, etc., and they will have a certain policy regarding your premiums and your out-of-pockets. And again, location. Where you live impacts your premiums. So if you're living in a big city that has a lot of smog and pollution, those are going to seriously affect your overall health. So therefore, your health insurance policy will be more expensive. So we didn't discuss this with homeowners, but there is title insurance, and that protects against a defect in your property, any sort of liens or a conflict of ownership if you don't get a title to it or if the title was bogus. And then there's credit insurance that pays off outstanding debts in the event that the insurer dies or becomes disabled and is not working. So let's look at pet insurance, and this covers for veterinarian care and accidents. So if you've ever had a pet, you know that they do get to be expensive. We love our pets, and pet insurance is a great way to ensure that our pets get the proper medical care that they need. And let's look at travel insurance. Now, most people take this one for granted, but there are a lot of things that can go wrong on your trip. There could be a cancellation, whether it's a natural disaster like a volcano or a tsunami, or a family emergency. God forbid somebody dies in the family and you have to go to the funeral. Trip interruption. Why do you have to leave paradise? Why is your trip cut short? Medical expenses, if you become ill or injured while traveling. Keep in mind that what policies are accepted here in the US may not be accepted in other countries. If you need to be transported to a better medical facility, that is covered with traveler's insurance. Lost or damaged luggage. Many policies offer at least the cost of the luggage and sometimes the contents if you can prove it. And then trip delays. If a trip is delayed for any unforeseen reason, it helps cover the food. It covers the hotel that you will be staying with. These are all things that you may experience insurance-wise. So this ends our unit. Please keep in mind that you will be tested on various forms of insurance.